Hello, I'm Jashykins, and welcome to my review of the elementary episode, The Deductionist. Now, if you, like me, didn't really realize that another elementary episode was going to be released Sunday, luckily enough, yesterday was the Super Bowl. I don't give a fuck about the Super Bowl. Anyways, and I was just sort of looking to see what was on. I was watching a Walking Dead marathon, but I was still looking, and I was like, elementary? So I was like, oh, go. And I would have watched it last night, however, I didn't want to start watching this episode and have Dad come back home. He went to Super Bowl party, and instead I watched a B movie called From Within with Thomas Dekker. Anyways, on to this episode, the elementary episode, The Deductionist. This episode began really, like, I watched it on demand, and I was just sort of turned it on, then I was walking back to sit down, and it, starts, and those of you who have seen the episode can notice my confusion. I was like, okay, there's two hookers, and he's on a chair, so he hired these prostitutes. I was like, well, I don't mind. Why? Of course, it turns out that Sherlock Holmes had, known they were crooks, and it was all a setup to get the two arrested. Now, there was a little debate on IMDb, some boards saying that, oh, prostitution is wrong, it's just, he could get, sex another way. It's like, here's my view on prostitution. If someone is forced into that lifestyle, it's bad, it's horrible, shouldn't be done. However, if both people, agree to what's going on and it's safe, go for it. Hey, some people maybe can really get laid the normal way, picking up at the bar, finding a friend, don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. And then they're like, okay, well, how about I hire a prostitute? Because looking at porn on the internet and masturbating is like, okay, it gets it done, but sometimes, having sex is totally different. So as long as both parties are safe, want to be there, go for it. However, the opening sequence of this episode, with my views on prostitution shown, was still fucking weird because it was elementary, and this wasn't exactly a show on HBO, so I was weirded out. The episode's main mystery this time around was this brother and sister decide to get a revenge on a reporter that, wrote a false story. And yeah, for a while you think the sister's just innocent, and turns out she was faking she poisoned herself, so she was sort of faking it. And it was nice and interesting. It was just, throughout the majority of the episode, though, it seems like the brother is very much against the reporter, or the psychologist, psychoanalyst, whatever the fuck. And he just seems to be going all crazy. There's no rhyme or reason. And it turns out it's, of course, to disrupt the lady. And this lady also added backstory with Sherlock Holmes, because she wrote some stuff about him after, sleeping with him. So Sherlock, right out the door, didn't like this reporter, so that sort of biased me a little bit against the reporter. But, once you're going so far as to kill a person, that's drawing the line. Let's see also about the Deductionist. Uh, Lucy Liu's, Watson's apartment was being used for pornography. And so she ends up throwing the one guy out, and I think she ends up leaving because the landlord turns out to be in on it. Yeah, crazy. It was like one of the most sexual episodes so far, just because, it starts off with uh, prostitutes, then it ends with solving the subplot of the pornography. That the pornography subplot was sort of used throughout the episode, which was a little weird. So yeah, elementary episode, The Deductionist. Long story short, it was a good episode. I like that this one reporter, whatever, that Sherlock Holmes hates ends up being a target, and he ends up basically having to save her. And what's great about this episode is that he also has to deal with, looking at himself, because this journalist wrote some things about him, and so of course he has to deal with that, thinking that the journalist got it all right, that he just fucked up, and takes Watson to say, hey, listen, she wrote some shit about you, but it's not all true. You're proving now that you are different. So I like that. I like the Watson Holmes interactions. And of course, I'm probably not going to be satisfied with them getting together. And I have been Jashykins, owner at jashykins.blogspot.com. If you want to contact me for whatever reason, outside of my blog or YouTube, you can contact me on Facebook at facebook.com/jashykinsfanpage, or on Twitter at jashykins. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, whatever. And hey, if you're watching this on my blog, thank you just for watching. Comment, share amongst your friends. Since you're now on my blog, you can look around and see all the goodies I have around here. And until next video, goodbye.